Hello to the two fans and welcome! This is Chicago Ted coming to you with the Sudamerican Master for the first official game we're going to be casting. I know there was supposed to be something yesterday, but unfortunately we didn't get to do that. This is going to be the game, though, that was supposed to happen first yesterday. Of course, it's happening first today. It is going to be Elite Wolves taking on Luccini. Of course, I'm Chicago Ted. Joining me is Mr. Snugs. How you doing?
Fantastic, my friend. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, what do you think about these two teams so far? I mean, coming into this matchup, I think Luccini, we haven't seen too much of them recently, but they've been showing pretty well. But Elite Wolves maybe struggling a little bit. You think we're going to see them bounce back tonight?
I definitely think so. I mean, they're still in my mind the game. I think it was game 2 versus Archon, which I'm still catching my breath from that comeback. That play from Smash just absolutely blew my mind. So I think he might look to rekindle the fire here in this game.
Well, hopefully he can rekindle the fire as we've got a Lone Druid ban out, IO and OD being taken away. So some quick contesting points for this draft, I think, that are going to be pretty important here is who plays mid, or like what hero they're going to be playing mid. I know Luccini, they've been operating a lot with the Queen of Pain recently. Same with the Shadow Fiend and the Ember Spirit, three heroes that they tend to be more comfortable with. But Elite Wolves, I'm not quite sure what to pin them down for. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Nature's Prophet mid for these guys, whether it works or whether it doesn't. I'm sure they're working on it and practicing it and working to make it powerful, but we'll have to see if they try to run that this game. I mean, we've already got the Beastmaster now taken out, and they're going to start themselves off with an Earth Spirit. That's an interesting one.
I'm actually surprised he didn't get a first round ban, to be honest. He's such a powerful hero ever since being introduced into Captain's mode, and he's been a top tier pick or ban for almost every team that I've seen, so no surprise there, really. But Elite Wolves, they have such a deep hero pool, too, so you really don't know what to expect. And start opening up with Earth Spirit, they're definitely hiding their hand here.
And Luccini, they're going to go ahead and grab the Death Prophet. Funny note, Death Prophet being the most picked hero for Elite Wolves. So Luccini going to go ahead and knock that one out of the pool. Of course, grab it for themselves. Pretty aggressive here. Just you know, with the Tusk and the Death Prophet, you can make your move quickly, efficiently, and if you get the kills, you burst down towers. If you don't get the kills, well, you still are able to deal a sizable number of damage and maybe first force someone back and still get those towers. But Elite Wolves, they are going to go with that Nature's Prophet. Every single game, I think, for the past 5 or 6 games, they've grabbed this one. And it has been played mid, as we mentioned earlier, but I'm interested to see because, I mean, you play it enough times, you're bound to get really, really good at it, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, too. They're moving at mid, they're moving in the off lane. They're okay with being flexible and versatile, so it's really hard to kind of, plan out the rest of your draft with your Luccini because you're not really sure where it's going to go. But regardless, it's going to be a very powerful force in this game either way.
Yeah, he's an incredible split pusher, an incredible farmer. He tends to be one of those heroes that no matter what role you draft him as, he still is able to get a lot of items out really quickly. His GPMs tend to be in the 500 to 600 range in a win or a loss. So Nature's Prophet can definitely accomplish many things throughout the game. His weakness tending to be the fact that really if you strip the hero down, he's just a right clicker if he's not being used as a pusher. So in the team fights, he tends to have a smaller impact than most. Granted, he doesn't build items like the Scythe of Ice or the Orchid, but we'll have to see exactly how he is drafted in this game. With the Earth Spirit, I imagine he's going to be playing more of a ganking role in the early game to go with that Earth Spirit. And now Ancient Apparition, forming a little bit of a global strategy here that Luccini, I mean, they've got the Spectre, so they've got a little bit of global as well, but maybe both teams opting to grab that sort of style.
I think the A is definitely a great counter just to the push that we kind of can feel. I mean, the Tusk helping the gank and help secure the towers for the Death Prophet and the Spectre as well, being able to haunt in at a moment's notice, join the team fights. And the A is a nice way just to kind of counter and slow down these aggressive push that we might see out of Luccini.
Yeah, and they have run the AA Nature's Prophet before, but that was with a Dazzle as a secondary support and a Juggernaut as their carry. So I'm kind of interested to see if we're going to see something like that. I'm not quite sure what our synergy would be for those heroes if I were to take a guess, they'd have to grab something that's a little bit better against the Spectre. I've seen Chaos Knight ending up taking that role pretty well, but Juggernaut isn't that bad. He more fits the, well, we need a carry to bring her down early sort of style, where you want to grab someone who can win the game quickly, push with the team, and end up ending it before Spectre becomes a problem. But this is kind of the same thing with no matter what they pick up. I mean, they got to grab someone that can work with the team early, because even though Nature's Prophet is a really good split pusher late game, Spectre kind of soft counters, or I guess more hard counters than Nature's Prophet, by being able to be wherever he is at a moment's notice, bring him down, then rejoin his team for the fight. And having that power on Luccini's side is crippling for a hero like Nature's Prophet. So we might just see them go all out early game, go for a DK, go for a Juggernaut, and just try to push down quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, the only problem I have with the Juggernaut, if Elite Wolves take that, is Snowball to dodge, Yules on Death Prophet, and they've got a couple ways of dealing with the Omni Slash. Okay, so they're gonna go with Morphling. So
I'm interested. I mean, Morphling does strike me as a hero that does come online a little bit later, but he does pretty well against the Spectre. He can hold his own carrying against her, and more often than not can out-carry her given the right items and the right farming speed. If he falls behind, then the Spectre will definitely just snowball way ahead of him. But if they can create enough space for this Morphling, they might just be able to accomplish that late game style that the Nature's Prophet could be good at. So Luccini, they grab themselves a Slardar, a very aggressive hero to go with that Tusk and the Death Prophet for some early pushes, as well as being able to create space for the Spectre. Luccini then banning out the Queen of Pain. And, well, Elite Wolves, I mean, they've got a couple of very comfortable heroes that they can pick up right here. I mean, they can grab something like an Undying and go for the push, but that might not exactly fit too well with their draft. Luccini think they're going to go for the mid pickup for this last one, and though they have run the Nature's Prophet mid in the past, I wouldn't put against them to put them in the off lane here and grab someone for their mid. Again, we've got the Queen of Pain being banned out, of course, but we have the Shadow Fiend still in the pool, among other mids that can be that get widely picked up, Invoker being one of them.
yeah, Invoker's still in the pool, and I'm thinking Lina might be a nice option too, because they're still lacking a little bit of burst. I think would go well with the Morphling and AA.
Ah, yeah.
And not to mention they need a little bit more CC. So I know LSA isn't the most reliable stun, but it offers something there. So
it's not bad. I mean, yeah, you definitely want to have a little bit more reliable to go, because Ancient Apparition stun, it's not exactly great. Of course, Earth Spirit can lock someone in place for a decent amount of time, and so too can Nature's Prophet. So maybe the Lina wouldn't be that bad. A Sprout TP into the mid lane to gank, a Sprout into a Light Strike Array. I could definitely see that working out. A Vengeful Spirit, though, hasn't been banned out, surprisingly enough, so that gets picked up by Luccini to go with a sort of minus armor physical damage strategy that they've got drafted up so far. Between the Death Prophet with the Exorcism, the Tusk just punching him down, same thing with the Slardar except with his mace. I'm thinking Luccini have a good amount of damage to burst down Elite Wolves, more specifically the Morphling, who relies a lot on his armor gain just from the agility he can morph into. So Elite Wolves, I mean, they're deliberating a little bit on this last pick. They've got plenty of reserve time to fall back on. So again, things in the pool, we got SF, Razor, Invoker that they can pick up if they are going for this mid. If not, then, you know, the world is their oyster.
pretty much. I really do like Luccini's draft overall. I mean, it's very, very strong through and through. They got a little bit of everything. They got ganking potential. They got initiation. They got a decent push. The team fight's pretty damn good as well. It's just I'm kind of worried about this Morphling now, because the BKB's not going to be all that great. The Tusk ult, DP ult go right through it. If he goes Lincoln's, the Slardar can pop it very easily, so can the Venge.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be difficult for the Morphling, I feel. He's already got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, it's the big thing here, though, is that not only do Luccini have stuns, they also have silences. So it's like Morphling, yeah, if he can get away from the fight, then he's golden. But Death Prophet's silence can come out of the blue more often than not. And if you can initiate with that one, then Morphling is a sitting duck. And I mean, it's a real issue for this guy if he's not able to get that incredible strength gain that he gets from morphing strength. I mean, it's an absurd, like 300 to 400 damage a second or something like that, that really makes it impossible to kill this guy if you end up being aggressive on him. And the Ancient Apparition, of course, being on Elite Wolves' side, eliminates that possibility if you don't get the silence off. So The Morphling could run aground if they're not careful, but I think Luccini have plenty of tools, as you said, to deal with this guy. And the rest of them, they're pretty squishy. Nature's Prophet, squishy, Ancient Apparition as well, so the Spectre should be able to just burst them straight down. But the Dragon Knight will offer another one of those heroes that are pretty damn hard to kill. Same thing with the Earth Spirit. And, of course, the Morphling if he gets his Morph off. So, you know, Elite Wolves, they might be able to outlast, but Luccini, we'll see if they can outdamage.
I think it's a good pick, especially if you get a Blink Dagger that offers them an instant initiation with the Earth Spirit. Not to mention he has a inherent like armor gain just in his passive alone, so it's going to help deal with the Slardar and the VS minus armor. So I think it's pretty good. He's a natural AC carrier as well, so that'll help out his team exponentially.
Yeah, and that kind of goes
like
along the Shadow Fiend pick that we were talking about, potentially the minus armor from that, but Shadow Fiend proving to be a little bit too squishy for them. I think I love that, especially when you mentioned the AC pick. The Dragon Knight should be able to offer them a lot. Now, Smash is going to be playing that, which Dragon Knight is not exactly a hero that's known for being very clicky and outplaying other opponents, but he certainly is a good all-around pick that might work out for them. I'm not sure, though. I mean, is he able to carry or at least hold his own as effectively against Luccini's draft, or do you think he's going to fall flat on his face?
I think the mid matchup doesn't really favor him at all.
Yeah.
And it's not like the supports can really rotate. I know Earth Spirit can get active early, and I think that's what might need to happen just to help secure this early game for the Dragon Knight. Because otherwise, I mean, he's not a hero that can really come back when he's behind. He's not a flash farmer.
Right.
You know, and it's going to take a while to get that Blink Dagger online if he wants to start ganking. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough laning stage without help for sure.
All right, for those of you just joining us, this is the Sudamerican Master Season number 4 premiere game for us. Of course, us being Chicago Ted, your main guy right here. And joining me is Snugs. Of course, on stats, we've got Latrodectus Dota. Thank you very much for providing the stat support as you see the little bubble coming up. And we're going to be coming out of this game, Luccini versus E-Wolves. E-Wolves being in a bit of a slump recently. Luccini having a lot more success than them. We'll see if they can continue that success moving forward into this best of 2.
Checking the items here, I'm trying to see if they have like any early smokes, if they have any early plans to go mid, but I think Smash will be on his own at least for the time being. He's going to get the rune though, looks like.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of support making his way down, just securing this one for him. Maybe they go for the first blood, but no, they're going to give it up. Yep, the sword just kind of running away. They're going to go ahead, morph straight on, and they draw the first blood from a right click coming from Masoku. So the Ancient Apparition getting some time to shine. The complete opposite of Ewo, I think, the Morphling and the AA. One's an ice cream cone, one is just a ball of water. But Smash not being able to get that last hit is not ideal since he didn't get the bounty rune. But hey, I mean, he's part of the first blood, and now they're going to go ahead and make another attempt on Monciati here in the mid lane. They've got the Dragon Tail to follow up from the initial stun of the Rolling Boulder, but the damage doesn't quite seem to be there. Of course, Smash not having enough mana, or not having enough levels to breathe fire onto her, not going to like it matters anyway. And so Monciati will go in, get a little bit of reflect damage off from the Crypt Swarm, and then back away. So a little bit of action happening after that first blood, but no kills so far.
I think that might be one of the biggest things to take too. Not only did Smash not get the bounty, he didn't get the kill, but he also had to level Dragon Tail first. So he won't have the passive regen from Dragon's Blood until now. They won't have the breathe fire for the nuke, so all disadvantage, but he'll be alright now. He's level 2.
Yeah, I mean, the benefit of being in the mid lane is you get these levels really quickly. He also started with 4 tangos plus pooled tangos, so I mean, he's doing all right for his regen, and it's incredibly smart against Monciati too. Like you mentioned, this matchup does not favor the DK at all. And speaking of that, looks like he might just be dead. Hate coming in, showing some hate as they bring down Smash. 3 committed, but damn if it ain't worth it. They get a couple bits of gold, and they secure this lane from Monciati. And as we were saying, a lane already favoring this DP now just gets worse and worse for Smash as looks like E-Wolves, they dive a little bit on top looking for sword, but are not able to secure the kill.
I think that's a good rotation. They know that the Slardar is going to get sacked up top. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot. He'll stay alive most likely unless he gets overzealous. But yeah, so they definitely want to make sure the mid is a big win for them.
Right, and I think it's going to be up to Elite Wolves to rotate back around and try to help out Smash a little bit, as I'm not quite sure he's going to be that big of a deal if this lane keeps going the way it is. Now we see a defensive TP out of course, on the bottom lane from Van as the supports are rotating into him, but he gets out in enough time that Hate and Fire are just kind of looking through the trees for absolutely no one. Wasting maybe a little bit of time, though if they were to find someone, it wouldn't be a waste. He'll go to the jungle and farm up from there. That's, I think, very worth it. When you're up against a tri-lane as a Nature's Prophet, you really have no escape mechanism aside from that TP. And when they have it in a way to just stun you out, then you got to just back out of this one. So he gets away without giving up any kills, and even though he's giving free farm to Codigo, I think it's well worth it that he's going to get some farm on his own and be ready to TP and gank if need be.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the Nature's Prophet pick. It offers the versatility, and they're not getting away from that support duo. There's no way the Snowball, the Shards, and this Bench stun, there's no way he's really going to make it out alive. So cuts his losses, go to the jungle, pick up some levels and some farm. So no real harm done. But yeah, like you said, the Spectre's going to get free farm, but
Yep.
Spectre takes a bit to get online, so it's not terrible, I guess.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, Spectre can build for a lot more of an early game, going Aquila, PMS, and into the Urn of Shadows, which might be his style this game. I see him already starting with their one stout shield, could be building that, or just holding on as Iwo is going to go ahead and bring down the sword. We talked about him getting over aggressive on the top, but I guess I should have been paying attention to Van. He TPs in, goes for that kill, and is able to assist, so Sword giving up one here in this early game. Elite Wolves will grab 2 kills to the one of Luccini and start out with a slight advantage. I'd say Smash still having a little bit of trouble in the mid lane, but it's, you know, ultimately not that bad as he's still slightly catching up on the CS board.
Yeah, he's got his bottle, boots on the courier, so, and still tons of regen, like we talked about. He's got all the tangos still, so life isn't terrible. The CS board isn't all that terrifying. I mean, yeah, it's 21-13 right now, but I mean, that's compared to how things started, I mean, that's really not terrible, I guess, overall. So, but yeah, the supports are still here, though. Like, they're not going to leave him alone. Yeah,
4 supports just waiting for the opportunity. And here comes Smash. The Ice Shards will lock him in, but turns around with the Dragon Tail. There is going to be a soul sucking here from Monchiati as he puts a second charge now onto M-God. They both might go down. Hate dropping pretty low. Van's going to have to pop a Fairy Fire. Is able to stay alive because of it. Monchiati hanging in close, 30 seconds before he's got another soul siphon, but Van is far enough away that he's just going to go ahead and TP back. So kind of awkward engagement, more of a 2 for 2, as the benefit does go to Luccini as Monchiati stays alive, whereas Smash ends up going down.
Yeah, the only thing I think that really, I mean, that was a decent trade. I mean, it was going to happen. Van actually was able to make a lot of plays there, but Mystico only level 2 now. He just hits level 3 on the Earth Spirit, so that's going to be rough.
Yeah, but now going on the top lane. They want the sword again. Away for him, and Sword is going to drop away, but it looks like he's able to get his salve off, which makes him absorb that last right click. The unfortunate part being that now he doesn't have a salve and has to make his way back to base. Masoku, that was pretty interesting. I think they might still go in with Van. He's TPing way deep, but in the meantime, they're going to go ahead. Fire will bring down Smash on the mid lane. Maybe a little bit too much focus, as Van also may be in a little bit of trouble as Codigo is going to drop down and pay him a visit on the bottom lane, but it looks like the only kill that is worth a damn there is Smash going down in the mid, evening out the kill score. But still, I think Luccini getting farther and farther ahead because of the fact that this mid is going so poorly for them. And Spectre is pretty much uncontested on the bottom lane.
Yeah, but that being said, though, the Morphling's still atop the S board, right on par with the Spectre.
It's
true. It's not terrible. Evil's been doing a great job farming up here. Slaughter really isn't able to contest him, and they did pick up a couple kills on him, so that'll actually help even more. A lot of pressure going to this early top of them.
Yeah, he makes his way back up to the top lane and trying to muscle down the creep wave here. Show Iwo that he's not going to let his tower go down without a fight, and he's being backed up by Fire too. So if anything were to go down here, any shenanigans to make themselves apparent, they'd be somewhat prepared, but there are 3 heroes grouped around waiting for the sword to make a misplay, and Van is also constantly waiting in the jungle for the opportunity to come in for a kill, so the sword may not be that well protected. As would you look at that, Codigo does end up going for the Urn of Shadows build, except he builds it first and foremost, looking to go ahead and make use of that level 6 as soon as possible. And if they make some sort of aggression apparent up on top lane, they might be able to grab a couple of them, but they got to be careful of Van, constantly ready to TP in. And I think they're going to have hate up there too if they want to make anything happen.
Yeah, they have so much lockdown, but right now everyone's kind of spout, so be difficult. I don't know that they actually want to take fight either.
Radiant's bottom tower seems
Well, when you grab an urn, you need to start thinking about something to do. I mean, if you were to go for a flat farming style, I would think the Akla or the PMS would be the smarter thing to grab first here, but with that urn, I definitely feel like they're going to try and fight, and he buys himself a TP too. I think we might see something, but Monchiati is playing it rather passive in the mid lane. He's got his phase boots up and ready, so he can go ahead and dive down on Smash in the mid if he wants to, but the pings are coming out in the top lane. Still 4 ready for E-Wolves to fight. Only 2. Holding back is Van. He'll go in for the courier snipe back behind the tier 2 tower, and of course has a TP scroll ready to go. Smash grabbed himself an invisibility rune. That could be useful down the line, but maybe we see the fight happening up top. Ewo, he's diving on in. He doesn't have his, or has his waveform, hasn't spent it yet. There he will do it. On to Fire, who immediately goes into the snowball, back towards the Masoku, actually. I thought it was going to the creeps. Codigo comes in, is able to get the kill with his Desolate here, and now we'll dive in onto Ewo. Looks like he's morphing strength. No, that's just the Urn of Shadows debuff, as now he goes in, but a little bit too late, as Sword comes through with the Slitherine Crush, and they'll grab 2. Of course, that is a couple of Urn of Shadow charges for Codigo, and exactly the aggression that we thought was going to happen, as if he wants to stay up here, he can. Otherwise, he's got a TP to make himself... or that allows himself to go back to his safe lane if he so chooses.
I think that was well worth letting the courier get sniped. They waited for Van to get out of the pictures, and then they got superior numbers 4 on 3, and they made their move. And I mean, there was really the Earth Spirit was kind of out of position. He was a little low on mana, and he doesn't have Magnetize, so that really kind of stalwarts what his plans for the team fight. So yeah, that's definitely worth it, especially taking out the Morphling, who definitely on top of the CS chart. So.
Yeah.
Big kill. Big kills.
Oh yeah, the Morphling is one of the bigger kills I think they could have gotten here. I mean, we talked about how he was leading. Oh, actually, Van in the bottom lane. He's in a lot of trouble. Okay, no, he's not, because he's dead already. So E-Wolves will lose another here on the bottom. Of course, Sword will go ahead and TP up to the top lane. Fire's taking a bit of damage from the summons of Van. M-God's waiting in the wings to look for an opening, but won't find one, as the Masoku illusion comes back, but will go ahead and get taken down. Sword is kind of stuck in the jungle, though. Hate makes his way up, though, to protect his Slardar, and that should be the end of that. The minus armor crew here on the top is no pushover. You don't want to mess with them unless you're absolutely sure you can get in safely, so they'll back off, and as such, you know, not a whole lot happening. We're 7-4 so far in the game as the first Wrath of Nature comes out, and they're able to scout out a ward because of it. Not that much damage, though.
No, and I'm really impressed to see Sword. I mean, that's the life of an off-lane Slaughter. You know, he kind of stagnated in the beginning. It was a tri lane, got killed a couple times, but immediately turns it around, picks up 2 kills, moves around the map. Very impactful here early on. Get the early levels in sprint. You don't really need a blink dagger. It definitely helps, but his teammates can set him up pretty damn well too.
And he'll go ahead for the sprint right now. He's got the Tranquil Boots, so he's moving pretty damn quick for a fish. He'll just chase down Iwo. I think he thinks he can get this kill, but he'll instead go for Masoku. That's why they've got Codigo ready to go. And Masoku goes down. Of course, Smash will come on in. Sword might be the sacrificial lamb for this one, but remember, they're giving their Spectre kills, which I think is well worth it for the life of an offlaner. Maybe not just to get a support. Maybe it would have been a lot better if they were able to grab Ewo, but for now, M-God will move on into Hate, but they come immediately with an Urn of Shadows, and Codigo's just going to go ahead and right-click him down. The Desolate damage is just way too much for that Earth Spirit. And Luccini grab another kill, so they lose their support, they lose their Earth Spirit. E-Wolves may be playing on the back foot a little bit.
And not only that, we kind of discussed this earlier, but the Spectre is going for the early fight build. We got the phase boost, we got the Urn, and now Drum's going to be online as Codigo picks up the recipe. So it's these fights are just going to keep happening like this, and I don't think the supports for E-Wolves can really withstand that kind of pressure right now.
Yeah, especially against a Spectre. I mean, so many heroes can prove to be troublesome coming into the early game, but a Spectre with a full kit of early game items is near impossible to deal with, because what do you do? You're fighting 2v2, 2v3, 3v3, whatever the case, the Spectre immediately comes in, adds 1 to the enemy roster, and all of a sudden, you're just screwed. And not just 1 to the enemy roster, I mean, an illusion can wipe out your supports if the Desolate damage is leveled enough and this the support is squishy enough. So E-Wolves, they've got to be very careful about how much they give the Spectre, and I think they've already given her a little bit too much. Now they got to play on the more defensive side, maybe go for a gank on her, or just play really far back and not let initiations happen.
Yeah, the supports for E-Wolves, I mean, actually the Earth Spirit just picks up level 6, so I mean they're under leveled, they're under farmed.
Oh man, and now Luccini will go in for the illusion. Evo summons of Smash. There's going to be an Ice Blast come on into the top, and that does connect on the Manciati, which drops him very low. Now a Magnetize onto the Sword, who gets a crush, is able to stun Smash out for a little bit. The Magnetize is still doing a whole lot of damage. They don't have vision to stop the TP. They do barely, but there's not a Dragon Tail to cast, I guess, as Evo makes his way in, is able to follow up and bring down Hate on the back lines. Codigo, he's pretty far back, but this could be the fight. This could be the pick they need. They're going to go ahead and Rolling Boulder forward. M-God, he is able to get the stun on Codigo and the silence. And now it looks like they are going to be able to bring him down. Gets himself away with a Spectral Dagger. Ewo, 3 seconds before he's got a waveform, but it can't happen as the snowball comes in. An overcommitment from Ewo. He can waveform out and will do so, but is now out of mana. Cannot TP, and he's got the amplified damage, so they have perfect vision of him. The illusions will get summoned though from Van. Ewolves getting Ewo getting trapped by the ice shards, will make his way around and gets away. A little bit of a cat and mouse chase going on here, but in the end, I don't know. I think Luccini lose out quite a bit by losing 3, and they are not able to pick up anyone on Ewolves in return. Codigo surviving though, that is pretty huge.
Isn't that insane how just one level on the supports for E-Wolves changes this entire fight like that? You get the Ice Blast, you get the Magnetize, and all of a sudden it's an entirely different ballgame here. I mean, and the sad thing is that you could just tell how much they wanted to get that Spectre kill. I mean, Evo dove so far for it, but fortunately...
Well, it's a true testament to how much the Morphling can commit, too. I mean, he goes way deep for that one, and is still able to get out with his life. I mean... He came so close to dying, but the Morph Strength proving once again to be an incredible skill. And then the waveform also for the escape can be pretty powerful too. So it's not like this is a complete loss from Luccini. They are going to go ahead and bring down a mid-tier 1 tower, but a huge smoke gank from E-Wolves out in the bottom lane. They're going to go around the jungle and look for Codigo. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to run into him though, as he makes his way out of the jungle. Maybe they'll find fire, though. He'll walk up to the high ground. Smash will reveal. M-God as well. They come in with a Dragon Tail, and that is a very, very dead Tusk. Masoku getting Spectral Daggered, but what are you going to do about it? Probably nothing.
A lot of burst damage. You just don't anticipate. I mean, you have the Snowball, but at the same time, it's like with 3 heroes there, they're able to blow you up pretty quickly, especially with Breathe Fire being level 4 now as well.
Yeah. There's a bit of a chase, though. The Sword looking for Masoku. I think it was kind of one of those, put the amplified damage off, chase him, and then come in with Codigo, but there's way too many allies from E-Wolves there and ready to help, as Van will make his way into the Roche Pit. Now he's got level 2 Necronomicons, plus a full set of his summons, the trees, so should be able to bring this one down. This is a very nice Roshan to get. 15.5 minutes for a lineup that isn't entirely known for Roshing. This might come as a surprise to Luccini, as I think that's what they wanted to do with the Slardar, with the Vengeful Spirit. This is a pretty big hit to their build path, as not being able to bring down this objective, and now losing an Aegis Immortality to Ewo. That's a sizable advantage for E-Wolves.
Surprise to Luccini's a surprise to me. I mean, all of a sudden I see him in the Roche Pit and half dead. I mean, it's something, you definitely don't anticipate, and now it's going to be very, very difficult to fight into that too. Morphling hard enough to kill as it is, but with an Aegis the Immortal, it's going to be more difficult now.
Yeah, Morphling struggling with intelligence, but if he can dive in and use all of his intelligence, then die, comes back full intelligence, or full mana again. Not intelligence, that doesn't go down. But come back with full mana, you're able to bring someone down just as quickly with another waveform, another adaptive strike. So Ewo's going to play this one very far forward. I think no fear, but the Sword, that's not his target. He wants to go in for Smash instead. But it looks like he's not able to do a respectable amount of damage, as Fire now getting caught. And that is going to be a nice quick death. They bring down the Tuskar. Now they're going to group up for the Spectre, make sure the Desolate doesn't do too much damage. Codigo is still able to bring down Masoku in the end. But That's not that big of a deal for them as they're going to back away with Van. Ewo also trying to get himself out of there. Turns around on a hate, but is going to morph strength. Now gets brought down as MGod focusing on Monsiati. They're able to get him, but MGod in a lot of trouble. The Desolate damage might come through. They're already able to get him, but Codigo drops to Smash. That, I mean, that's the first death for the Spectre this game, right? 4-1-2 now. And that opens up this bottom tier 2 tower that E-Wolves have already committed slightly on. Now they can fully commit, get the advantage. They lose their top tier 1 tower, but they're not all that upset about that one, I think.
Oh God, no. I mean, especially the age has proved to definitely be the biggest advantage there, and now that even allows the Morphling to go to his next time. So he's going to go to the Manta. So we discussed about how like defensive items are kind of problematic for Morphling this game. So he's just going to go more utility. So he got the break that silence. He's going to have the Manta, which is absolutely huge. Help with split push, all that kind of stuff. So definitely a great first item there for the Morph.
Monsiati could be in a bit of trouble here. They've got MGod and Ewo close by. Now they're just going to go in straight for the tower. And I really like the Manta for multiple reasons, especially as a first item on Ewo or on a Morphling. But the main one being that it gives him so much. You mentioned utility, but it also gives him damage. It also allows him to push a lot quicker, which is something that's incredibly important with the lineup that E-Wolves have drafted. So I really like the item. I think it's a fantastic first item, and all too often we see the shotgun build on the Morphling when half the time I don't even like seeing it because it just doesn't have the same impact every single game. So we'll have to see if the Manta is the right call here. As Smash will make his way into Codigo. He gets himself in through the trees, though. Should be able to TP out. No, 27 seconds, though, coming with Van. And this is a very dead Spectre. If they can get a little bit of vision, they are able to secure some with a Treants. They just need now one last little bit, and they find it. Breathe Fire and Ice Blast coming through. Maybe a little overcommitment, but who really cares? It was a worthy kill.
Yeah, especially now that I'm not actually sure which way the Spectre's going to go. I mean, I don't know if that's a casual Yasha or if this is just going to be an entirely mid-game centric build for the Spectre and just holding out from the Radiance for later. So, regardless, the killing the carry is the way to go here, and they do commit a bit, but see, now they can use it for the push here for the T2 top, so works out pretty well.
Yeah, and having the level 2 Dragon form plus Ewo, who's got plenty of damage. I mean, they should make quick work of this tower. Should be able to go straight in for the mid and grab another tier 2 if they so choose. I mean, Spectre does have Haunt when she comes back alive, and they're going to go in now onto Van. Should be able to bring him down quickly. Is that a Blink Dagger? It is. Sword completing the Blink. A very important item, but MGod, he wants them to get a little bit of a return kill here. Goes into Fire, gets both the stun and the silence. Now the Magnetize, but Fire's the only one hit by it so far as Smash popping the BKB. Now Masoko in the backlines gets his Ice Blast off. They turn immediately for Codigo, and that is a Spectre down again. No Haunt available. So Monsiati will get a return kill, brings down MGod. Ewo now caught. They have a silence. They do not have anything to follow up here as he stays alive for now. Smash with the Spirit Siphon, hurting him. They've also got the Magic Missile. They're going to be able to bring down Smash to 3 for 2 so far as the Sword wants to continue chasing, but the TP out is going to connect for the Morph. Of course, Masoku, not so lucky. He'll go down a 4 for 2. An okay fight for Luccini. Again, you really don't want to lose Codigo like that, but Monsiati getting quite a few kills from there, and in general, the gold change going in their favor, not too terrible for them.
Yeah, that's a huge fight, but yeah, like you said, you definitely want the Spectre to be around, not only for the XP, but for all those earn charges. I mean, 4 heroes going down in just a few seconds. I mean, especially at the Desolate damage as they start to disperse towards the end of the fight. But Evils is very, very quick to burst down the Spectre. But I mean, the Morphling makes it out again, but his entire team is just blown up. Once that BKB runs out on Smash, he's just very susceptible to all the damage from Luccini. And the minus armor, I mean, keeping amp on him the whole fight, and as the longer the fight continues, the Death Prophet ultimate just tearing through E-Wolves.
Right. So what do you think about Ewo now going in for what seems to be the Lincolns here? I think we talked about in the draft how it might not be that effective this game, but I mean, he's definitely going to build into it with that Perseverance. I highly recommend going for a Refresher's Orb or a Battle Fury on this hero, so maybe a Lotus Orb, but I'm thinking it's going to be the Lincolns.
Likely the Lynx. I think it just ensures his safety from maybe just one-on-one matchups or when he's by himself, because I mean, it's still a good item. It's just when they're in a big team fight like that, there's plenty of ways to cancel it out. So I think it's still good. It gives him the stats, you know, which is fantastic. So it's not terrible. He does need a defensive item. I think between the two BKB and Lincoln. I think Lincoln is probably better.
Really, I kind of go on the opposite. I think I like BKB a little bit more here, so.
I think
The
it's
Lincolns
just with the
does give him the
duration of
region
these
and the stats, as you said, though, so it definitely could be very useful here. Maybe his damage might suffer a little bit for it, but I don't think he's that worried. I think E-Wolves have plenty of damage aside from him, that he's doing just the right amount so far.
I think it's just with the duration of these fights, the BKB would be a little bit more difficult. I mean, like you saw, I mean,
true.
It's you can only have it for so long, and as soon as Smash ran it, I mean, the BKB ran out. I mean, he was pretty vulnerable. So
Yeah.
it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of scenario. I think. Got to pick the lesser of the two evils, I guess.
It looks like we'll have a damned if you do situation as the smoke comes out for
jeez.
E-Wolves. They want to bring down Monsiati. This could be a very nice kill. They're going to go ahead and miss the stun immediately, though. They Ice Blast in, and it will connect, but the damage burst is not going to. So I think that is the end of the commitment for E-Wolves. They've got still a couple of ultimates on cooldown that they can wait out for, so that's not too big of a deal for them. They'll go right back and farm. I mean, Van can go straight to an ancient camp or a jungle camp and quickly take it out with the level 3 Necronomicons now, 2,800 gold. Honestly, he can go many different items here. Do you think he's going to continue with the pushing strategy and maybe go for something like a Mjolnir, or do you... Oh, okay, well, that answers my question.
Almost instantly. I think he heard you. Yeah, I think it's good. They definitely need a little bit more more push, because he's coming in the fight just like the Spectre can, so keeping the pressure. I mean, they already have every 2 down, so he's going to have an opportunity. If E-Wolves can take a great fight, he can definitely start pressuring the 3 in high ground, so I like it. Also, I'm really hoping that Smash Eos drops. I was hoping he'd pick up a Blink Dagger, because you saw they just kind of lack the initiation there.
Yeah, they're
not gonna
relying...
have one for a while.
They're relying a lot on M-God for that initiation. We see what happens when it doesn't quite connect, especially when they're coming out from a disadvantage in vision. If you guess it right, then it's brilliant. It's perfect. It's the exact initiation you need because it's a stun and a silence. What more could you use? But with someone like Smash being able to blink forward and get the immediate stun off, it's too good to pass up. I do kind of like the drums, though. It's a little bit more of a synergy item and a lot better of a pushing item and not so much of a team fight. It's still very team fight oriented, too, but in a more synergetic sense instead of just a straight initiation. So Manta will get completed by Codigo, an item that's brutal when you're a support, but otherwise, I mean, it's no Radiance on Spectre, so it's not going to give her that supreme farming late game potential. It's still going to allow her to fight very efficiently. And against someone like Smash, who is going to get swapped up, but immediately BKBs to avoid out the Slithering Crush, and that's going to be Hate being brought down in no time at all. Smash, though, the BKB is soon to run out, and he's got the amplified damage as the sword comes in with a double stun. Ewo and Smash both caught, but it seems the follow-up is not quite there, as Smash and Ewo just muscle down this barracks, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go down just yet as the disengage happens. Masoku taking a lot of damage. Monsiati gets blown to bits. Now Codigo in a little bit. No, he's actually in the commanding position. Smash goes down. Ewo in a lot of trouble. Is going to go ahead and morph strength as the Ice Blast comes through. Codigo cannot stay in for too long. Van now in on the back line. Is going to be able to bring down fire. And Ewo still closing in on this one. Van and Ewo should be able to make the last of this Rax happen. As, I mean, Codigo, how exactly does he go in onto Van here? He doesn't, is the answer. So the melee racks will drop. The sword, force stabbing through, gets both of them with the Slithering Crush. Van might drop here. The adaptive strike out into Codigo, though, but Van is still, I mean, his fate is sealed. Might as well try for the Wrath of Nature, but is not able to complete the cast. As the sword continues to hunt, they get another adaptive strike out onto him, but the swap back is going to lock Ewo in a bad spot. Maybe not, as Hate taking a lot of damage from the, okay, I guess the Necronomicon's going down, but Ewo comes through with the waveform, and the sword will get brought down. Man, Van fighting from the grave there definitely turned a couple of things around there, and it looks like they might also get the ranged racks. No, the siege creep will go down, but the ranged racks is 103 HP. That's not good for Luccini.
It's just such great team management. They know exactly where to be, what their heroes are capable of in the thresholds. They're very comfortable with these heroes, you can tell. And that reaction time from Smash, instantly popping that BKB, preventing further damage, being able to just blow up Death Prophet so quickly, just very impressive from Elite Wolves. Yet the team, they lose a few heroes, but I mean, You got the melee racks and essentially the range rack, which is obviously the lesser one of the twos.
Yeah, reaction time like that is something a lot of players aspire to, and it almost brings to mind whether or not it was a planned endeavor, that they knew they were going to probably swap Smash up, so why not have his finger ready for that BKB cast? If not, if that caught him by surprise, then I got to give him a whole lot of credit, because it seemed like it was almost instant. Luccini was not able to get the Sudamerican crush off. I mean, those are the kind of plays that really turn fights around, too. I mean, if you imagine what would have happened if Smash got caught on the high ground with a Manta-style Spectre being stunned for that long, I mean, he doesn't live for very much time. So, I mean, we saw the amount of damage that came out into him when the BKB ran out, when Ewo was hitting on him. So, or not Ewo, but Codigo was hitting him. So, second Roshan does go down. It looks like Ewo should be able to grab the Aegis Mortality as the sword. Oh, Ewo actually diving really far forward for the sword. But here comes the Lincoln Sphere making its use known. The Ice Blast comes through, but it's not going to connect. Sword still dropping very low, though the silence onto Ewo. He doesn't have a Manta out of it. Doesn't need it. As they bring down Sword, 50 seconds in the grave. This could be prime time for E-Wolves to solidify their advantage. Maybe take a second set of racks, or if not, just bully out Luccini for the duration of time that they don't have their starter.
Yeah, and he tried to use all of his gold before he passed. He bought the the BKB recipe, so no buyback either. So yeah, 30 seconds still, so they got plenty of time to operate here. Dragon form doing work right now with Ewo.
Yeah, I mean,
This is without Van. This is without Van.
Yeah, and now Van's here, and what happens now? The towers just immediately drop, and a Frozen Sigil attempting to slow Ewo down gets brought down very quickly too. They've also got an illusion of Smash also whacking on their racks with them, so that's a second set of racks, and we talked about it. This was one of their two options, and they definitely take it with a commanding sense. As Luccini dropped 2 racks down at 30 minutes, this cannot be a very good position to be in. I'm pretty sure that something like this sets you very far back, as Ewo getting caught on the high ground. Do they have a way to get out of the silence? He's going to Manta out of this one as the Ice Blast comes through, and Mazziati getting annihilated. Codigo looks like he wants to come in. Dives in for M-God, but is not able to secure the kill. Now he gets stunned up by the Dragon Tail, and they've also got the Stone push boulder through there as, well, Sword will go down the back lines. Hate also dropping in the midst of some trees. 3 dead with no buyback. Sword dying again. And E-Wolves are all alive. No Elder Dragon form for 40 seconds, but I don't think they care. The GG gets called as the writing on the wall is red. E-Wolves take game number 1 of the best of 2 series. I guess it's not really a best of 2, it's just a 2-game series, but in the end, game 1 will go to E-Wolves. We'll see if they can grab the second one. Of course, I'm Chicago Ted. Joining me is Snugs. Any last words before we go to a quick break?
I just love how I was like initially really panicky about the early game for E-Wolves, and they just completely made me eat my own words. I'm eating crow right now. I have a full plate. It's delicious.
I'm glad you enjoy it, because maybe we get to enjoy it again. And again, game number 2 coming up very shortly, guys. Stick around. More Dota action.